You better watch out, you better not cry, better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list and checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, he's here. It's Santa Dvorak. I was naughty, so I deserve that. I get it. And that's Greg Diolis of Vantage Management Group. And coming up a little bit later on today at Heinz Field, it is your Pittsburgh Steelers, and they will be in action against the Denver Broncos. So we're going to break it down for you. The Broncos are getting 6.5, and Greg just said moments ago on the ever-popular Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show that if the Steelers win today, they should make the postseason, but they've got to get by the Broncos. Do you believe they will, Greg?
I do. I think this is a 6.5, maybe a lot of points, but Steeler victory should be pretty easily achieved. They just have to contain the defensive line of the Broncos. Broncos' offense is really hurting right now.
Mr. Dvorak.
Game of the week, game of the year. I think the Steelers win this game, they make the playoffs, but big test. You like the matchup, the irresistible force of the Steelers offense and the unmovable object of the Broncos defense.
And yeah, this is a better defense than they had to face.
Speaking of defense, there is a young man who's on that defense who happens to be a graduate of Beaver Local High School. Talk about him.
Yeah, Derek Wolf, and he's coming off. He had a 4-game suspension beginning the season, and has come off of that and has really performed well. Was AFC Defensive Player of the Week, I believe, 3 weeks ago. Has got some sack totals up, and being an inside defensive lineman, sometimes that's harder to get where you're generating numbers, but you're really trying to eat space. But they've got a really stout up front set of players
And active linebackers. I mean, that crew is pretty good. Their secondary's loaded with number one picks. They're a number one defense for a reason.
When you think of the Steelers, would you agree that if they end up in the postseason, this has been the best coaching job to date for head man Mike Tomlin as the head coach of the Steelers?
Well, I'd say they've had to overcome a lot in the way of injuries, setbacks, those types of things. So they've held it together, and they seem to be coming together at the right time. If that's how you're going to evaluate a coaching staff, then they'll get good grades.
Bob, one of the things that you talk about overcoming some things, the other thing was the loss of the receiver, Bryant, Martavis Bryant, for the first 4 games of the season. And, he's really, after the exhibition season that he had, you were really looking forward to some things out of him. So the slow start may be attributed in part to that. Then you lose your left tackle. They have overcome some pretty big high
All-pro center, number 1 running back in the NFL. They're missing some major pieces, but boy, when they get it rolling, they're unstoppable.
And by the way, folks, we want to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy Holiday. And Mr. Dvorak and Greg Diolis and I will be alongside of many of dignitaries and famous folks and just folks like us, just common people, talking about the annual feast that is the Feast of the Seven Fishes, coming up on Thursday, Christmas Eve at Coons Market on McKnight Road. And we hope to see all of you there beginning at 9 a.m. Anything else before we say goodbye?
Deck the Broncos, they're just Yonkos.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh.